Yes, we are back to discuss another part of digestion. Nicholas is also is presenting as usual. And we're actually going to start with food in the mouth. We're going to describe what happens to food when it reaches in the mouth. That is what occurs when food reaches in the mouth. Food is broken down into small particles through chewing. The role of teeth in the mouth is to break down food into small particles. So when food is pressed in the mouth, then we shall see some chewing taking place. Then saliva is mixed with food, soften and lubricate it for easy swallowing. So the role of saliva in the mouth is here. The role of saliva is meant to soften food. Secondly, it is meant to lubricate food. And why are they softened and lubricated? For easy swallowing. Then chewed food is rolled into bolus. It is bolus. This is bolus for science. Food is rolled by tongue. And we shall look at the role of tongue as to roll, R-O-L, to roll food into bolus. So tongue will be actually the core role of the tongue is to roll food into bolus. Then it is pushed into the gullet. Saliva is produced by salivary glands, meaning they may pose the question, what produces saliva? Or identify the glands that produces saliva. So salivary glands produce saliva and contains an enzyme we call salivary amylase. In the mouth, we find there an enzyme we call salivary amylase or ptyalin, and it begins digestion, or it digests cooked starch. Not all forms of starch can be digested in mouth. It must be cooked starch. That's why when you put cooked cassava, when you actually put cooked cassava or cooked posho, that when you try to chew, then saliva is mixed in, it will have to change into maltose. Unlike when you eat raw cassava and you spit it, it will be raw cassava. But the moment it is cooked, then it will have to change into maltose. During swallowing, the epiglottis closes over the opening of the trachea to prevent food from entering into it. The role of epiglottis is to close trachea when swallowing food. Because when trachea is not closed, food may try to enter trachea, then choking may actually happen. But the role of epiglottis is to close trachea when swallowing food. We go to the roles of saliva when we are digesting food. Saliva, as we have actually seen, is meant to soften and moisten food. Then still it cools down food in case it is hot. That's the role of saliva in the mouth. And then we have tongue, roles of tongue. Tongue is meant to mix food with the saliva. Then still it rolls food into bolus. I've said bolus. Take note of the word bolus. B-O-L-U-S. It is quite different from bolus. Actually, we do study in history, in social studies. B-O-L-A-S. No, this is L-U-S. So the role of tongue is to roll food into bolus. Then still it pushes food into gullet. That's another role of tongue. Then for teeth is meant to break down food into small particles. Don't say chew, don't say grind, don't say cut, don't say bite. You just use one word to break down food into small particles. Remember, that is mechanical digestion in the mouth. Then they protect the tongue. That's another role. Let's just go to the gullet and see what occurs, or esophagus. The gullet is a muscular tube that passes food from mouth to the stomach. It's a channel. Gullet is a channel that connects mouth to the stomach. And since it connects the stomach, then we shall see food moving from mouth through that point, through that area, then as it actually descends into the stomach. How does food descend? How does food move from mouth to stomach? This food moves by the process we call peristalsis. It is peristalsis. Some put letter I after L, it's not there. So food moves from mouth up to stomach by a process we call peristalsis. You can see here, food, the bolus was here at first. Then we shall have muscular expansion and contraction. You can see when the bolus reaches here, muscles will expand. Then as the bolus continues down, still muscles around will expand. As it continues, muscles will keep on expanding. Meaning where the bolus reaches, then the muscles will have to expand in size. Then that action will continue until this bolus drops in the stomach. Then we go to what occurs in the stomach. Food is thoroughly canned into the chyme. Food in the stomach will be called the chyme, and by the action of peristalsis of the stomach. The walls of the stomach will produce a juice that we call gastric juice. Last, members, walls of the stomach produces gastric juice and hydrochloric acid. It is within, actually the role of hydrochloric acid is to kill germs that will have escaped, that will have come with the food from the mouth. Besides that, hydrochloric acid provides acidic conditions for renin and pepsin to function. We have two main enzymes that are found in gastric juice. Remember, gastric juice is produced by stomach walls. Then within gastric juice, it's where we find renin and pepsin. Take note of the spelling, renin. The pepsin helps to digest proteins. It changes proteins into amino acids, the end product of proteins. Then renin is found in babies, and it helps in clotting of breast milk. So they may pose a question that identify the type of enzyme found in young babies. It must be renin. Or they may ask the role of renin. Or they may ask the type of enzyme that is found in adults that acts on proteins, that is pepsin. No absorption of food takes place in the stomach apart from, we don't have absorption besides these ones. Little water can be absorbed in the stomach. Common salt can be absorbed in the stomach. Those who take alcohol can be absorbed in the stomach. Glucose, simple sugars, can be absorbed in the stomach, monosaccharides, and some medicine. So those can be absorbed in the stomach. Then we'll go to what occurs in duodenum. The duodenum receives bile juice. Duodenum, take note of the spelling. It receives bile juice through the bile duct. Duct is a passage. All ducts are passages in the body. So bile duct is a passage for bile. So duodenum will receive bile juice from bile duct. Then bile juice is produced by the liver. So once they ask the use of liver is to produce bile juice. And where is bile juice stored? Bile juice is stored in gallbladder. So gallbladder is meant to store bile juice, and liver is meant to produce. So liver produces bile juice as gallbladder stores that bile juice. Bile juice doesn't contain any enzyme, but contains bile salts. The work of bile salts are meant to break down fats. Meaning, we have seen in the stomach, there is no action of fats. Actually, in the mouth, no action of fats. In the stomach, no action of fats. But when fats reach in the duodenum, now it's their area, it's their turn. It's the turn of fats to be broken down into small particles, into small fatty adipose. So the duodenum receives pancreatic juice through the pancreatic duct. This is another duct. It is also a passage pancreatic duct. Then pancreatic juice is produced by the pancreas. So pancreas produces pancreatic juice. Then that pancreatic juice will pass through pancreatic duct as it goes to the duodenum. Then that pancreatic juice contains enzymes like pancreatic amylase, contains, this one will finish, it will actually act on starch, it will finish the action of starch. And then we have trypsin will finish the action of proteins. Then lipase will finish the action of fats. Then no absorption of food takes place in the duodenum. Food is not absorbed in the duodenum. The first food to be digested in the duodenum are called fats. I've said this. The digestion of fats begin in the duodenum. Thank you so much for listening.